Welcome to A Meaningful Marketplace.
I'm Sarah Masoni from Oregon State University's Food Innovation Center, where I've helped countless dreamers launch their new food products. It's the science of taking a food delight from the kitchen to mass manufacturing and still keeping its great taste. That's what I do. I've been called the woman with the $1 million palate, although I haven't tried to cash that check yet. Listen in weekly for real-life stories.
I'm Sarah Marshall, owner of Marshall's Hot Sauce and author of Preservation Pantry, modern canning from root to top and stem to core. I love inspiring business owners to get started on their journey, encourage folks to be part of their local community, and I'm excited to help business owners tell their stories. Hello and welcome to the Meaningful Marketplace. We are here weekly to discuss the journeys of food entrepreneurs. We're glad you've joined us today as we bring you stories of hope and inspiration. This is Sarah Marshall, owner of Marshall's Hot Sauce.
And Sarah Masoni of Oregon State University's Food Innovation Center. Hi, Sarah Marshall.
Hey, Sarah Masoni, you have been on the road the last couple of weeks. It's good to have you back.
Well, thank you. I've had a busy travel summer for sure.
We've missed you. Since you've been gone, we have moved from Idaho to Montana.
Woohoo! I like Montana.
I do too. We've circled back around. We did Montana this time last year, and we're back meeting lots of new Montana friends. I'm excited to be on this journey with you again.
Me too.
And you and I are headed to California in real life, not just in podcast life, here pretty soon. And I'm excited about that.
Yeah, so I was in San Francisco this last week with the Specialty Food Association Board of Directors. We were scoping out San Francisco because we're moving back there in 2027. We'll be in San Francisco.
For the Fancy Food Show. Is that official? That's official news?
It's official.
Hot off the press, back to San Francisco.
2 years in a row we'll be there.
Very cool. That's exciting news. Thanks for announcing it official here.
Right? I was trying to tell them they should let us do a podcast for them and interview members.
That would be fun. We could do it live
from
the Foods Show.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Let's keep that pitch on the table.
I told Leanna to listen to all the shows and see what she thinks. But I said there's multiple shows where we talk about fancy food. Actually, if you wanted to have somebody figure out which shows they are, we can send it over to them and say, hey.
Yeah, we talk about you guys all the time.
Yeah, it would be perfect.
Good idea. Well, I'm glad you're back. We'll keep things rolling. We have exciting Montana guests coming up. So thanks for listening, everybody. And we have been partnering with the Regional Food Business Center to bring you guests from our 6-state region. We're currently meeting with business owners from the great state of Montana. We have our co-host back, Hailey Vine from the Montana Department of Agriculture. Thanks for being our Montana guide. Hailey, welcome.
Yes, hello.
Do you have any exciting Montana things to tell us about?
You know, we met with our Ag Development Council last week, and our Agriculture Development Council is who oversees our state's Growth Through Agriculture grant, and they set the priorities for this year's funding cycle. And rural food and connections to different markets is are some of those priorities. So we'll be excited to see what kind of grants we get out of that. The pre-application will open up October 10th.
Very cool. We'll put a link to it so people can find it in case they're interested in applying for those grants. Well, we're so glad you're here with us again. And we're excited to hear more about Montana. We would like to encourage you to connect with your state by signing up for the Regional Food Business Center newsletter. It's a breeze to sign up. Just go to Northwest Rocky Mountain Regional Food Business Center.com, hit connect with us, and choose the button to receive newsletters. And we want to thank our sponsor for supporting the Meaningful Marketplace. Thank you for helping us spread the word about small business owners and entrepreneurs. Let's hear a word from our sponsor. The Northwest and Rocky Mountain Regional Food Business Center is the proud sponsor of the Meaningful Marketplace podcast, giving a voice to food from across the 6-state region of Colorado, Idaho, Montana, Oregon, Washington, and Wyoming. The Food Business Center supports Northwest and Rocky Mountain food industry makers as part of the USDA's National Network of Food Business Centers, supporting a more resilient, diverse, and competitive food system as a go-to source for small and mid-tier food and farm businesses with a focus on underserved communities, providing education in the form of technical knowledge, business programs, and industry news. We sponsor trade shows, meetups, and conferences to connect growers, producers, retailers, distributors, and processors, all to stimulate business and raise the standards of our storied food industry. Join us as we travel through the 6-state region, learning more about food makers, food hubs, and food systems. Visit the website at Northwest Rocky Mountain Regional Food Businesses.com to get connected. And I would like to introduce our guest today, Eric. He is the owner or steward of Wickens Ranch, a fourth-generation family ranch raising cattle in Winifred, Montana. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here.
We're glad you're on the show today. And we always like to encourage people to follow you and your family ranch on social media. So can we tell people how to do that?
Yeah, the easiest way would be to go on Instagram at Wickens Ranch, and then the same thing with Facebook. I have to say my personal accounts are very, very sporadic, so that would be the best place to go.
Yeah, that's a good one. And we'll link it in the show notes so people can easily click on it and find it. But we always like to start at the beginning of the journey. And so for that, for you, you're going to have to take us back all the way to 1911 when your family ranch started. So tell us about when the ranch started.
So my great-grandpa John homesteaded back in 1911, and my grandpa and three brothers took over the ranch, and it's continued to kind of expand and be split into different family members. But my dad was fortunate enough to be part of that, and also acquire some different places. So we've been able to keep ranching. And then my wife and I, Emma, moved back in 2007. So we met at college in Bozeman, Montana, and got married, moved back to the ranch, and started a family. And I would say kind of about 2010, we're really handed the reins to the place, and we've been just kind of going ever since.
And I always like to ask the question of, it's a fourth generation ranch. So now you're in charge and you've taken over the ranch, but is the rest of your family still involved, or do they have some say in what goes on?
My parents are still involved. They live down the road about a half a mile, and they're not like active in the day-to-day ranch stuff. So, but they have different careers. Where Dad, he just shifted over into gunsmithing and outfitting and that kind of stuff. So he was really able to turn the place over and pursue another passion of his, which is really important for anybody older who might be listening. You need to have something else to kind of transition into when you get out of ranching. So you don't feel quite so lost. But he's still around, and he helps out a lot whenever I need an extra person or mechanic or something. Same thing with Mom, is just incredibly helpful with anything that we need. My brother has his own place north of Winifred. He's about 25 miles away. And my brother and sister are both in Bozeman, and they are doing photography for my sister. And then my brother has a live music show, Live from the Divide, that is really popular.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's always good to get a plug in here and there for performers.
That's
I appreciate that.
That's right.
So you're fourth generation ranching family, and it looks like, from what I can tell, you're producing different types of things, but mostly regenerative beef. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
You bet. We have cow-calf operation, just kind of your classic cow-calf, as well as we run yearlings through the winter. We have a backgrounding lot that we develop our own calves and heifers for the neighbors, horses, hay, and kids, and lots of kids. We have 5 kids, from twin boys who are 10 up to our oldest daughter is 17, and they're kind of spaced out evenly. That keeps us really busy as well. But yeah, it's kind of your traditional cattle operation.
And you have won an award, the Aldo Leopold Conservation Award. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So we won that in 2024, and what do I say? It's an award kind of honoring ranches that are doing conservation right alongside production agriculture. And so, yeah, it's really important to us to build just a healthy, thriving, fully functional ecosystem with, on our ranch. And if you do that, you create really nice habitat for all the things, right? Our cattle, as well as the wildlife and birds and bugs and all this stuff. So yeah, we really try to do the best job possible. And then the ripple effect is very nice on all the other critters that use our land.
Eric's being very modest about receiving that award too. It is very much an honor and says a lot about their operation. And for him to be nominated, it's a very rigorous process, I think, they go through in terms of deciding who's nominated and who receives it. So I'm going to put that extra pat on the back for him there.
Woohoo! Good job, Eric.
Thanks, Hailey.
Well, I was going to say, too, that really is a good explanation of what regenerative farming is, in case our listeners haven't heard of it or don't know, in case you're not familiar with farming practices. But that was a really good explanation of it, that it really benefits the whole ecosystem of the farm and the community. And so it's really not just thinking about the particular practice or the one thing that you're raising, but it's affecting everything, from the cattle to the people to the land to the water. It's all the things. So they're looking at all those things when they're deciding the award, but also just the practices that they're doing on the farm. So they look at a lot of things. So that means you're doing things right. So good job, Eric.
Can you tell us about how you raise your animals? They go from grazing to finishing, and tell us a little bit about some of the local ingredients that you use in finishing.
So typically, the animals that are going into our beef program are open females and first and second generation. So open heifers and open threes, they enter the beef program. And what we like about that, about having a slightly older animal, when I say a slightly older one, I mean there's restrictions at 30 months of age for some international markets. So we might have some animals that just go a touch over that. But the benefit is that these animals they've spent their lives. I mean, they've fully grown up out on pasture, and they've had every shot of being in the herd essentially. And if they fall out, then that's okay, because they're just a really great age to enter our beef program. And so when they go into the program, they get fed a diet that is all local ingredients, and it consists of local hay, alfalfa grass hay mix, and some straw, just kind of roughage, and that's about half the diet. The other half of the diet, a mix of peas and barley. The peas come from a processor up named Bell Pulses up in on the High Line up in Hingham. And they're just rejects from their program where they're too small, they're misshapen, they're cracked, whatever it is, as far as going into the human food system, they don't fit. And so take those, and that's really a protein supplement for the animals, for the cattle. And then the last 25% is barley, that we either raise that barley or our neighbors do. So they don't have to truck it the 60 miles one way to send it, to put it on a grain car. They can take it 2 miles right down the road and dump it in our bin. So it works really well for them and for us. It just saves a lot of miles on that grain. And we live in communities that it's a mix of farming and ranching. And so we really want to support all aspects of production around us and neighbors. And this is another reason why we really source local, and we work to, offload this stuff for our neighbors. And it gives them other options in the rotations. They might want to try peas, just knowing that they have an outlet for those, or barley, or, those are the ingredients we use to finish. And it's typically about 100 to 120 days before they go to the processor.
So let's explore regenerative ranching just a little bit more. I see on your website you're talking about Alan Savory's holistic management principles. Can you give us a brief overview of that?
You bet. About 15 years ago, I kind of stumbled upon his textbook, and I read the whole thing, and it was definitely an aha moment for me because I got a Bachelor of Science in Range Management from Montana State. I got a certificate of ranch management from TCU down in Texas, and they were both really, really good. But it felt like there was still some siloed kind of information, and nothing had been like fully tied together as far as connecting the soil with the plant health and the animal health and the human health and all those things. So when I read his book, it just beautifully tied everything together and really kind of opened my eyes to this idea that you pull on one end of the string, you make one decision, it's going to affect everything else. And so we just started managing that way, with trying to keep in mind the 10 other things that each decision we were making was affecting.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'd love to hear about your favorite cuts of beef. We'll be right back.
Oregon State University's College of Agricultural Sciences and the Food Innovation Center are proud sponsors of Meaningful Marketplace. With a mission to serve all Oregonians, we are committed to giving voice to those whose food and agricultural stories are not always heard. By providing access and opportunity for a more diverse and just food system, because food brings people together.
Okay, so there's a wholesale section on your website, I think, that people can get logged into. So I'm guessing that would be for folks in the restaurant business, but also people can pick up product on your ranch. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what some of the best cuts of beef are?
You bet. So we do sell into restaurants. So we're focused on the Gallatin Valleys, primarily Bozeman, Belgrade, Big Sky area. We offer a pickup location for those areas that's in Bozeman, but then we also offer a delivery, doorstep delivery of orders, and it's a next day delivery as well. So when our animals leave the ranch, they go down to Stillwater Packing. It's in Columbus, Montana. And then from there, it goes to Bozeman. The ranch is very, very rural, and we just wouldn't have any customers for beef because that's basically what everybody does around us. Is raise their own beef. So we had to get to a more urban place. So Bozeman, Montana is really where our business is based out of. We had to make it convenient for people as well. We're trying to solve the problem of access to local food. And so we offer the ability for people to order all the way down to 1 pound of ground beef. If they just want to try it, they can order as little as that and not have to order in bulk. Because I think a lot of people really want to support local. They want local food, but access is an issue. And if you have to buy in bulk, for example, it's a pretty big commitment in terms of money, in terms of freezer space, and in terms of if you've never bought from that person, it might not be what you're expecting. So we want to make the entry point as easy as possible for people. So we essentially let them order as little up to 1 pound of ground beef up to a half a beef if they want, or a whole beef or whatever they want, and then we deliver it right to their door because we live in a bit of an Amazon world, and people have come to expect this kind of service. So it's really up to us to figure out, as kind of local providers of food, we have to solve these problems and kind of tear down these barriers if we want customers.
So what is your favorite cut of beef?
My favorite cut of beef, realistically, it's a ribeye. I love a ribeye steak, and yes, that's pretty boring, I know, but it's just so
No,
good.
that's what I always pick up. Like I look for like a nice big fat ribeye, and it feeds a couple people.
Yes.
I think gone are
Or
the days
one
of
or
everybody
one
having,
name.
yeah, I mean, everybody having a gigantic piece of beef. What would you suggest for someone who'd like to explore your products? Would you suggest getting the 1/8 of the beef?
Yeah. So that's like a trip around the cow in a smaller amount, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a really nice way to go, for sure. If they want that kind of experience of getting all the cuts, if they really know what cuts they want, and they get the most value and they enjoy, they can just go right to them, just choose them directly. But but the 8th is a nice kind of entry point as well. So it's just really open to the knowledge level of people. We have boxes as well, kind of curated steak boxes and, weeknight dinner boxes as well. So a little bit of something for everybody.
My in-laws live in Bozeman and they're always looking for local beef and they're always asking me if I know the people that they're buying stuff from because they know my line of work. And they recently got some of your meat, Eric, and my father-in-law was just like, "Did you know they finish with peas?" And just it amazed him. He just had never heard anything like it. And I think they just picked up some cuts at the co-op. Do you have some stuff there?
That's great to hear. Yes, we do. So we just got into Bozeman Co-op maybe 2 weeks ago, I think. And yeah, so we're in, I think, 4 town and country locations and Bozeman Co-op as well. The peas they are a unique thing that we do, and it adds a really robust, like buttery flavor. That was a bit of a side effect that we were really happy to discover. So we've been really happy with that.
So the bone broth must be really good if it's sold out, I'm guessing.
Well, actually, we lost the person that was making it, is what happened. So the bone broth, I really love that product, and we're visiting with other people trying to get it up and going again. Our beef tallow is something that we're really happy with and has been really popular as well. And so that is something that we're producing and seems to be quite a hit for people.
I was noticing there's 2 types of beef. It's tallow and
So just fat,
yeah.
kind of
What is
unwritten. We have, and there's leaf fat or KPI fat.
Yeah.
So that's internal organ stuff. So on the heart, kidneys is that KPI fat, and it's just like a really pure fat that they use in a lot of the face products. They'll kind of seek that out, and so we've sold to local people that make just facial tallow products, and that's what they buy. But we want to also offer it for hunters to blend off now that hunting season is going, to mix in with their wild game, their elk or whatever, for sausage, because they're always looking for extra fat. Yeah.
I also saw that you have hot dogs called cowboy dogs that have beans in them. Is that right?
That's right. Pinto beans.
That sounds so cool. I've never seen that before.
Cowboy beans, so there must be cowboy dogs.
Yes, it's the Stillwater makes those for us. They make our value added products and they do a great job. So yeah, we have different kind of fun brats and hot dogs, and yeah.
The smoked beef and cheese one looks really good.
It is. Yes.
And I know that you're focused on providing to your local area, but we're based in Oregon. So if they hear this show and want to order, can they order from your website and get it delivered here?
They would have to come and pick up. We have decided not to offer any delivery. And this was it was a hard choice. And we made it early on as we were talking about the business and how we wanted it to look. We wanted to just settle into one area, be able to look, go to the farmer's market, look people in the eye, and sell them the beef kind of this classic way. And just the amount of food miles associated with shipping these small boxes of beef across the country with the dry ice and all the packaging, it just seems like a bit much. And so we wanted to stay away from that. So yeah, we're staying out of the shipping game and going to focus on the home deliveries and the pickup spot.
Well, Sarah, I guess we're going to have to go there.
We're going to have
get
to
the
road
whole
trip to
animal
Montana.
enthusiast box.
That's right.
Rough.
Yeah, we'll have to come visit Hailey and take a road trip through Montana and visit all these guests because I want to try everything we talk about.
Me too.
Yes.
Well, Eric, if people want to come see you, you mentioned farmers markets. So do you do farmers markets in the area?
So we were at the Bozeman Farmers Market down at the fairgrounds this year. And yes, so I have really great help in Bozeman because the ranch is about 3 hours away. So I do not get to Bozeman, and it's less and less because of the incredible crew that we have running things down there. But we are at the farmers market. And like I said, we're in different grocery stores and quite a few restaurants around town. And yeah, you can kind of find us all over.
Hailey, any final questions for Eric before we wrap?
No, I think you covered an awesome amount.
I do have a question about your family. How do you incorporate your kids into your daily routines on the farm or the ranch?
So this summer was a summer that my oldest daughter interned, if you will, on the ranch. So, because we've had interns for the last couple summers, and I just got to thinking that it was such a good experience for those kids, and Emma and I talked about it, and I said we cannot let any of our kids leave the ranch and go off and do their thing, which they will, and we want them to get out and experience the world, but they've got to know what this is at a deep level. Like, they've got to know all the jobs. So yeah, so she interned, if you will, and she got paid, and she did everything, worked her very hard, and she did really great. It was a lot of fun. So that's kind of the way that the older kids, they work, but everyone is fully involved in everything we do on the ranch, as well as from moving cattle to, we do a lot of electric fence, and they help pull that up and take it up and put it down, and riding horses, and so yeah, they're just very involved during when they're not in school.
I saw the cattle on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And one time we were in Eastern Oregon in some restaurant, small town, and there were pictures of the cattle drive through the little town we were in. I always thought that would be like an amazing experience to be on a horse with the cattle. Can you give us just like a little brief glimpse into what that's like?
Yeah, so this is a good question. We do it quite a bit. And so I'll say, like, this fall was a pretty big moment because I didn't ride that day, or one of those days where they trailed the yearlings home, and it's like 7 miles or something. It's quite a ways, and they did it. Emma and the kids and Dan brought them home, and I did not help. So, so that was kind of a big moment. But
That's a proud moment.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. They were pretty wore out, but what it's like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe. I think we get used to a lot of freedom that a lot of people don't get to experience, in a sense of the kids. You stick them on a horse and you tell them kind of what direction to go, and that's about it. And they've got to figure it out kind of on their own, because we can't sit there and tell them every step to take. So they start to learn just through trial and error of how to work with animals, how to make decisions, with no one around telling them what to do, and how to keep going when they are wanting to quit and exhausted, and their horse is being a pain. I think we kind of take for granted the amount of life lessons that each one of these trips and is given the kids. But yeah, it teaches them a lot of stuff.
And there's just like this beautiful thing about realizing that all jobs that happen on earth are important, right? So, moving the cows around is just as important as somebody who's on Wall Street, in my opinion.
That's right. Yes, they're just different jobs, and we do the work that we need to do, where we find ourselves. And I didn't think to be born out here and to be able to do this, but will be forever grateful that I was given the opportunity, which is why we work so hard to do as good a job as we can, because we don't want to squander this. And yeah, just really, really thankful to be able to do it.
Thanks, Eric. I'm thankful that you were here today with us.
You bet. That was great.
Well, thank you, Eric. It was lovely to meet you and hear your story and hear all the things that you're doing to take care of your family's legacy. And we hope someday to be able to taste the lovely things that you're creating. Thanks for joining us on the show today.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning in to the show. You can rate us on Apple Podcasts or iTunes. You can follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Meaningful Marketplace Podcasts. And you can call or text Sarah and I with questions at 503-395-8858. We couldn't do this without our fantastic team at Joy of Creation Production House. Thanks to Dave, our production coordinator, and Hailey, our audio engineer. And we'll be back next week, everybody. Thanks for joining. Bye.
Bye for now.
If you love the stories we bring you each week, please consider supporting us on Patreon. As an independent media company, your support is absolutely essential. It allows us to continue creating high-quality professional episodes that amplify the voices of women, small business owners, writers, artists, and creatives, and keep their stories free from commercial pressure. By becoming a Patreon member, you're not just supporting us, you're investing in the future of independent media. Please visit patreon.com/The Joy of Creation Production House to join our community today. Thank you for listening and supporting our podcast dreams.